Hey guys, hi and welcome to the video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about differences between Django and Flask. Which one is better? Is Flask better or is Django better? Which one you should learn? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about all of that. So let's get started. So first of all, to make web applications, Django and Flask is a framework in which you can build web application. Both are equally powerful. Let's come to Flask. So first of all, Flask, in order to create project directories, you have to manually create project directories. What I mean by that is, let's say you are gonna follow MVC architecture. So you have to create folders manually. While in Django, the Django admin CLI does that for you automatically. So that's one other difference. Coming to Flask again, Flask has Ginger templating and has everything that you think of, basically URL routing, redirect, and all the built-in functions. In order to store data temporarily, we have something called as sessions. Similarly, in Django also, we have redirect, Ginger templating, and all of that functionality. Then coming to Flask again, coming to REST API, which is the most important thing. Building APIs in Flask is very easy. You can add basically, there is a module in Python for Flask, basically Flask RESTful, which allows you to create RESTful services in Python. So in Python Flask, with simple, basically by decorating the class with a Flask RESTful, and you define get, put, and post, whatever, XYZ. While in Django, we have something called as Django RESTful, which is way powerful than Flask. Now why? I'm going to talk about that. Well, when you want to create API in basically Flask, you will download Flask RESTful. Let's say I want to have something, a nice UI, a beautiful looking UI. I have to download Flask Swagger or Flask Swagger, which is a third-party API. Documentations are not there. Not much documentation is there. So coming to the UI, when you want to display beautiful UI for your APIs for testing purposes or even for anything, Flask has a downside in this. While in Django, beautiful, amazing REST API UI you can create. So it is all pre-built with Django REST framework. So you don't have to install any dependencies. Django also has other end something called as serializer. What serializer does is basically convert your data into a JSON format. No matter whatever your data is, just pass it to the serializer. Serializer does that job. In Flask, you have to do it. You have to do all sort of conversion and stuff like that. Talking about databases in Flask and Django. Flask has a database called as SQL Alchemy. You might be knowing that. You might be using it a lot. But once you download SQL Alchemy and you have to do certain migrations, it's a tedious job. I mean, it's not that difficult, but it's a little tedious. In Django, everything is automatically. Well, you create a model by just inheriting the class by models.model. You create a model, run Python file, manage.py, migrate, make migrations. Another advantage of Django, basically Django provides you an admin interface whenever you create web apps automatically. Flask does not do that. So in Flask, you have to do all of that manually. Django does all of that does automatically. It gives you a very nice admin interface, which Flask does not provide. So of course, you can see Django is pretty powerful. My advice for small application, you can use Flask. I'm not saying that Flask is not better than Django. Both are equally great, but Django is more preferred in industries. When you want to get job as a Python web application developer or web app developer in Python, most of the companies would be using, of course, is the Django. So you want to master Django REST framework. Basically, I have 15 videos on that. So if you want to learn, please make sure to watch that so you can master making REST APIs with Django. What usually people do is people do not create web apps in Django. People create backend applications in Django like REST APIs, and the front end would be either in React or Angular. That's how Python is used in these days. So you create basically a REST API or a backend in Python with the Django REST framework or Flask, whatever you like. And then the front end is usually Angular or React or any of the things. So that's how the breakdown comes. Personally, I have done both. My website, somalshah.herokuweb.com, is in Flask. I learned about Django recently, but I loved Django because automatically it does everything. The Django CLI is amazing. Once you know how to use Django, it's so amazing. So my advice or opinion, if you want to learn, if you're confused basically what to learn from Django and Flask, I would recommend please go ahead and learn Django because there are a lot of advantages as I mentioned. So that's it for this video. By the way, I just want to conclude that Flask also has something called as login managers. Even Django has it. There are a lot of third-party applications for Django as well, and even for Flask. So there are pros and cons for both of the frameworks. So it's upon person who are using it, how you are using it, and for what application you are using it. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and a small talk on which is better, Django or Flask. If I have missed certain points, please comment on this video and let me know which framework do you use for making web application in Python. Are you using Django or Flask? What databases you use, or what are the popular libraries that you usually use while creating web apps? Is Django or Flask? So that's it for this video. Hope this was a little informative. If so, do give a like. Please share my video if possible. That's it for this video. Keep smiling, keep learning, and see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.